Welcome back to the Functional Coaches Corner. I am here with Nektaria. She is one of our GHMC alum, and she is not only so smart and so talented, she's been a coach in the industry for such a long time. And value her input and her opinion on the coaching industry because she's seasoned. And Nektaria, I want you to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and your business, and we'll go from there.
Hi, Kayla. Thank you so much for having me. So, where do I start? Oh, my goodness. So, I've been in the fitness industry for a little bit more than 10 years. And like yourself, I was a competitor. I competed in bikini divisions in several organizations, became a pro, and then was just so sucked in that I ended up getting my personal trainer's certificate. I got certified and then started off that way. Essentially, little backstory, I entered competitions as a way to expel all the stress I was under because I had a daughter who was born with congenital heart disease and she had to undergo open heart surgery. And so I stopped. I worked in the television industry. I worked in TV news. And so I stopped doing what I did and I was taking care of my daughter. And at about 10 months old, she was going to have, we found out at about what she was 1 month old when we found out that she had
Oh,
some life threatening heart issues.
wow.
The cardiologist told us that if we do nothing about it, she won't survive past 18 months to 2 years. So, needless to say, my whole scope of everything changed. I stopped working in television news and took care of my daughter at about 10 months. Her heart was enlarged, and so we had to have emergency surgery. Open heart surgery. And as a parent, like it just took so much out of me, out of my family. It was just a very different experience. But we are very lucky because my daughter is 16 years old. She's going to be 17 years old this summer, and she is thriving and she's doing wonderful. But back then, because of all the stress, I needed to relieve myself somehow. I just needed to
Sure.
take it all out. And so I spoke to a coach at my gym and we decided to compete. And
Okay.
so I entered my very first bikini competition. I put
What
everything I
year was
had.
that?
So it was 2013.
Okay.
So I competed in the bikini division as a novice, and
Yeah.
not only did I win my category, I won overall. I went home with the ginormous trophy. And so I was sucked in. I went a second year and I won two bikini pro cards. And
Wow.
I continued to compete for 4 years. But in the whole scheme of it, I decided to just go ahead and get my certificate to start training people. And the whole idea was for me to, I just felt so good in what I did. And I felt so empowered and so strong mentally and physically that as a woman, I really wanted to help other
Mhm.
women feel the same way. So
Mhm.
let me
You're
just
getting emotional. I love it. No, it's good. That means you care. It's
so
good.
that's how I
Yeah,
started my business. I started
that's
with
amazing.
just really, part-time, picking up clients here and there at the gym, and before I knew it, I was working like 40 hours with clients a week.
That's so
And
cool. That's
within
so
I
cool.
think it was like within a year. So it really just transformed into something I didn't imagine. And I continued to work with clients, just training them. And then during COVID, of course, all our lives changed. And
Sure.
I decided to go online and I started working online with clients. So I did work during COVID, but it was on
Mhm.
an online basis. So then after that, we went back to where we were. But, I thought about and I started incorporating nutrition into
Mhm.
my coaching. So I went from just a personal trainer to now I'm doing nutrition, got certified for that as well. And just started really putting the pieces together. And then I realized that, you know, I can only help and work with so many women on an in-person basis and decided to in the last couple of years push forward and just go online and coach online. And I still do have in-person clients.
Yeah.
I do it part-time. My schedule has Now my in-person clients is this much. Well, my online client is the brunt of my business. And I haven't looked back. Now I am working probably 75% of my business is online. And, I still work with in-person clients. But as much as I want to work with more in-person clients, I have capped that and I'm
Good.
able to work with more women online.
Good. Yeah. Well, I just want to take a step back and highlight your passion. This is so cool because I've been coaching in the industry for a long time and I see coaches come and go, and the ones who don't make it in this industry just don't have that underlying passion that you do. And so that's super cool. And so it's a natural evolution of us coaches to want to continue our education, to continue learning more what we could do, to get unstuck in our education application to help more people. And it's just a very natural evolution of coaching, and you found that. So that is amazing. And so you're mostly online now. At what point, well, let me ask you this. Where were you at in your online business? Just with your knowledge, just with your client cases, where were you at before you joined GHMC?
So, I mean, coming from a bodybuilding background, I work with macros.
Yes.
Simple macros coach with workouts, check-ins, just like you're competing. So this is what I
Mhm.
knew, and I knew that it worked. And how I did it, the difference that with me is that I'd like to think is that how attentive I am with my clients. There's so many coaches out there. And when clients have a good connection to their coaches and their coaches listen and really listen, not just dish out
They don't
demands and
listen.
commands, like listen to
Right.
what they are going
Yeah.
through. So I wanted to be different on in that aspect. So yeah, that's what I initially started off with.
Okay. Okay. And so were you just seeing were you getting stuck in your client protocols? Were you getting stuck saying, "Oh, there I know there's something deeper here and I need an extra layer of education." What was that deciding factor for you?
So I'm going to backtrack even more than that. Right before I decided, or sort of at the same time where I decided to do online coaching, I was going through my own
Mm. With
gut
all the
issues.
competing, all the stress, I
So,
get it.
and not just, I am 51 years old and not just the gut issues, is going through perimenopause and changing hormones. And I'd like to think that I'm very fortunate where because I've been so active in my it's lifting heavy weights, really just focusing on bettering myself and my body and my mind. I like to consider myself lucky because I don't have as many symptoms as a lot of other women do. I did, and I still do,
Mhm.
but not to the degree. And I like to credit that part of the
Sure.
lifestyle. But, a couple years ago, I had surgery. I had hip surgery. And after my hip surgery, I noticed that my gut was a little bit off. And
Okay.
I'm going to say this, and whoever's listening to this will probably laugh at me, but I am so used to my stomach being flat.
Sure.
Lower belly, sorry,
I
I
get
just
it.
lower belly, everything flat. And then I noticed that I'm not as hungry. I don't wanna eat. Every time I drank water, my belly was distended. Every time I'd even eat just a little bit, my belly was distended. And I went from, being probably more on the constipated side my entire life, normal to constipated my entire life. All of a sudden, anything I'm eating I'm, running to the bathroom after. So, I knew that there was something wrong, and I tried so hard to fix it, even, getting my hormones tested, my blood work tested, everything. And at that point, my doctor gave me a pill, Cefax
Mm.
Cefaxin, if I'm saying it correctly, because I had SIBO. So she says, "Take this pill, you're gonna feel better, yada, yada, yada." And which I did, and I did start to feel better. But guess what? In hindsight, now I know that once you do that, there's, you need to really heal your gut after wiping out everything, which I didn't do. So it just made the situation worse. So I was in a worse off position. So as I'm starting my business and I'm going through this, I'm starting my online business, I knew that there was just, it's not always macros in and, you know,
Sure.
the output. It's not always about that. While it is for a lot of people, it's not for everyone. There is something definitely underlying going on. And so that's where, working with clients, there's some that were very extremely receptive to like macros and dropping weight and getting to their goals where a lot of other women were not. And so at that point, as a coach, I'm starting to think that I'm doing something wrong,
Yeah.
you
You're
know,
like, "What am I doing wrong? I
right.
can't." Yeah, I
And
know.
I'm not the coach, and I tell this to my clients, and I tell this to anybody who's incoming onto my programs. I'm not the coach who's gonna drop you to 1,000 calories just so you can get you to drop weight. We're not competing. Those are like days where and still I just 1,000 calories and lower, just is like a red flag to me, like something is going on. So that's when this woman named Date Kayla reached out to me a little more than a year ago, and I'm like,
Who,
"I'm
me?
gonna do this. I'm gonna do this." Yes, you. Maybe a year and a half ago, because we're
Yeah,
in March. I think it was a year and a half ago, and
right?
I remember looking into it after, just having a chat with you and thinking to myself, "This is what I want. This is what I
Mhm.
need. This is what I have to learn because I went through it."
Yeah, and it starts with you. We say that all the time. It starts with you because if you can be that walking, not even billboard, that's not the right word, just that walking example and that leader to your clients, to your audience, to just your following, people are going to know, like, and trust you so much more. And when they do that, it is so easy for them to just buy into, like, what you're saying. And not even just financially, but just like, "Oh, like, I F with her. Like, I love her. Like, I want what she has," right? So it starts with you, and then if you're not passionate about it, and if you can't even talk about, like, your own struggles, not everybody has to have struggles to be great, but if you do and you're not talking about them, like, people really resonate with that and they really relate to you. So, yeah, it totally starts with you. And so you get into GHMC. Was it, like, what you thought it would be? Was it more than what you thought it would be? Less than what you thought it would be? Like, talk to me through that.
So, I have, truthfully, nothing to compare it to. I've never taken a course like this, but I will say that I was blown away. I
Wow.
learned more than I thought that I needed to learn or wanted to learn. I went into it with an open mind and I said, even if I can get just a little bit of something more than what I have already known, it's going to be better than nothing. But I finished this course and my style of coaching has changed tremendously.
Really?
It is just yes. Now, when my clients talk to me, and I've always listened to my clients. I think it's so important when someone invests in you for you to invest right back and more. So,
Mhm.
and listen to what they're saying. So this time, like when my clients, when they do their check-ins and they fill out their forms, all the little red flags. "Oh, I've just been bloated, for a few days, and, I'm running to the bathroom, I'm doing this, and this is it." So now I question everything. Now when I see it, before I even return their check-ins, like, I send them a message, "Tell me more about this." So that way I have more information. So it's not just, "Oh, change your macros. Oh, let me do this. Oh, you need more cardio." Well, that's not always the answer.
No, it's not, and also your clients probably feel just so taken care of that you're able to go deeper with what they put on their check-in form and what they're telling you over text, and they probably are like, "We like this, like, this is amazing," and they feel that deeper level of care, and then they're gonna get better results, and then they're gonna, stay in longer, they're going to refer friends. How d let me ask this, the majority of your leads? I'm just curious.
So for me, I think it's a little more challenging because I don't have and if anybody knows anything about social media, about
Mhm,
advertising and whatnot,
mhm.
my Instagram account was partially hacked a couple years ago, and so I'm still fighting to become the administrator of my account. I don't know who it is. And so advertising through my account, I can't. So what I do is and yes, I do have an assistant online, and we reach out to people, we talk to people, we start conversations, and my clients, they spread the word. And so this is how I'm doing it.
So you're getting referrals and
Yeah,
yes.
it's not as easy,
Mhm.
but it's working and it's great. And
Yeah.
I have a great load of clients. And, I had someone today re-sign with me and she said it's always great as a coach when your clients say nice things. And
Uh-huh.
this one, she reached out to me first and said, "All right, time to resign. I want to resign. Am I resigning?"
Very
So
cool.
of course, it's like, okay, I didn't even have to ask her. She
Yeah.
said, "Your style of coaching," and she's had other coaches. "I love your style of coaching. You have me hooked. You've spoiled me. I don't know if I could ever look another way." So hearing this just reassures me that, and this is a person who I've actually had her do blood work,
There
and
you go.
I've had her do blood work and just found all of these things, changed her protocol, and it really is nice that
Yes.
we have this education. I'm not saying that, I know more than I did, and it's always a learning. Like,
Always.
it's always learning, and
Always learning.
any coach that says, "I know it all," or like, "Oh, I don't need to know that," I tell people to run, because
Right.
this is an evolving field. And so yeah.
People are like, "Kayla, how do you know so much?" And I'm like, "You don't understand. I've been through 4 cohorts of GHMC, all right? So, like, I've listened to John lecture for years, okay? That's it always just keeps getting better. So, I love that you've created raving fans. I always say it's amazing when we can get anybody results, right? We can get anybody results and with whatever they are dealing with. But when you can take somebody who feels like they've done it all, they've seen it all, they've had other coaches, nobody is listening to them. You're diving deeper with blood work or testing of some sort, and you look past just nutrition and fitness and you help them, you create what we call a raving fan. And that raving fan goes on to stay with you for years. They tell all their friends about you, they spread the word, and then you don't have to spend money on ads. Weird how that works, right? So even nothing wrong with that, but yeah, it's just really important to go that level deeper, create raving fans because that's how you have more impact in the world, truly.
I know I kinda sometimes I call myself a bad businesswoman because The I mean, I'm all about re-signing with me. Sign with me,
Mhm.
let's continue working together, but I do tell my clients, my ultimate goal is that you are so educated from everything that I'm teaching you and learning as much as you can, that in the future, you don't need a coach, that you are
Mhm.
capable of actually making choices of what you're gonna eat, knowing your body when there's something off with your body and following through,
Mhm.
advocating for yourself, advocating for your health and wellness.
Mhm.
So while I want the business, of course, what coach doesn't, it's even more important to me that the education that we're giving out to people and how they are responding and, prioritizing themselves.
Right. Well, creating that type of result is great business because then you again create that raving fan and whether they're with you or not, they're talking about you. They're singing your praises and creating more healthy like healthier, happier women is the mission. So, I would say that's great. And honestly, we say that too and then people just like, "But I just want to stay because I just want to be with you." And like, that's okay too. And I'm sure that you have this as well, but I have clients who can quite literally coach themselves and others, and they just choose to be in the tribe.
Oh, yeah, I definitely do have, because you create the relationship with someone and they trust you and they know that if they need you, that you're going to help them, right?
Mhm.
And this is part of the course that I absolutely love. I am doing the alumni program. And it is so helpful to have that extra support in a group setting, to be asking questions. And when other people ask questions, looking at the answers, talking about it. And it's like a mini course in itself, So
Mhm.
just having that expansion.
Yeah. So you went through GHMC, and everybody who goes through GHMC keeps the actual think of it course for life. But we have that one level deeper where if you want more support after the 12-week cohort is done, you can join what's called the alumni program, which is what Neck is in. And we have a really great time. That's where we really see those like higher level coaches, you get those higher level questions, and you just feel very supported the whole time. Let's go back track a little bit. When you joined GHMC, what were things that you learned that you weren't expecting to learn?
So when I went through my gut protocol, my initial before I joined the course, you know, I had leaky gut. I had
Mhm,
dysbiosis. And so I went through a certain protocol. And did it help? Absolutely. Did I have to redo it? Yes, because we say that it's a journey.
mhm,
It's a journey. And so learning about, how hormones are involved and how our bodies are really just doing this.
mhm.
Hormones are affected, guess what? So is gut. Gut's affected, guess what? So are hormones. And let's look at
Yeah,
the blood work. Oh, here are the markers. And so this is going on and that's going on. So connecting all of the pieces together and giving us a better picture, a clearer picture, because, it says A, B, C, and D, and people go through a certain protocol is what I'm learning right now and having some of my clients on specific protocols. It's never a one size fits all, right? But it's never, but looking at what I learned and what this course has taught me, it filled in some of the gaps and I'm able to look at something and say, oh, okay, well, let's try this instead if this doesn't work. So it really is just knowing, and again, not everything is 100%, but
right.
it's better.
Yes, you have the tools now. You're more completed, you're more well-rounded. When you were actually in the course, how was your experience when it came to just the support when you were actually taking the 12-week mentorship? Did you get in and you were like, "Oh my gosh, like, what did I do?" Or were you like, "Oh, I'm overwhelmed?" Because that's a lot of questions we get from coaches is like, "Is it gonna be too much with my workload? Is it just too much in general?" So, can you talk with me about that experience?
Absolutely. I mean, you'll see me on social media and I'll be able to create videos and talk and talk and talk, right? But in general, I am a little more shyer than people think I am.
Oh, I didn't
I I tell my clients all the time, you can be in my gym and I'll talk your ear off and get your mind off of what you're doing, but you'll
Mhm.
complete the workout and we'll have fun. Take me out of that setting and bring me out to dinner. I'm probably the quietest one at the table because
Oh.
I just like love absorbing everything around me. And I have that little bit of shyness that I don't not let, but I don't show as often. So online courses are, I always hesitate because I guess, I don't know, I want to be able to learn and not show weaknesses, if that
Oh,
makes
yeah,
sense.
that's important.
So it
That's
is
key.
like, it is key. But, and then, so when I started this course, I honestly couldn't wait to start it. Like, I just wanted to learn as much as I can. And I was really excited and very nervous at the same time. But after my first class, I was sucked in. I don't know what it was about that atmosphere that you and John provide, but it was just so welcoming, so, like, chill with just information. Just a lot of information and going to, caseloads and talking about caseloads and how we would, you guys letting us like chime in on what we think. And it was never, too much or too little. It was just perfect. For me, anyways. I know everybody has a different way of learning and a different speed of learning, but for me, it was
No,
just exactly what I wanted.
that's really good feedback to hear because we really do try to create a non-judgmental vibe, a very chill vibe because we know that it's stuff's hard, but also too, you guys are smart and we're gonna push you as well. And it's fun because you create, friends inside the program as well. And it's a small cohort each time. So it's not like you're on this huge call. So if you ask a question, you're like 30 people aren't like watching you. And so, yeah, I'm really glad that you felt very welcome because that's a very real fear that I think a lot of coaches have is they prefer self-paced or they prefer just not being in the community, but you just don't get as much out of it if you're not in the community, getting your hands dirty, rolling up your sleeves, asking questions, and yeah.
So I think one of the other things, because I think about this often as to why I sometimes it's not insecurity, but just the hesitation. I started in this industry a little bit later in life. I'm 51. I started it in my early 40s. And so when I went to school, a lot of people start in college. They start to a certain degree in the health field industry in college. They're learning, they're getting their job. For me, it was more, I'm working in television news, I'm working with media, I'm working, doing other things. And this was never in the scope of anything. I never expected to be in this field. And so, it's that, I just started, even though it was 10 years ago. And, all these people have started way before me. I know it doesn't make a difference, right? You are where you are, but I just, I love it. I love it.
No, it's great. It's great because somebody out there listening might feel this very same way.
Yeah.
So I love it because I have taken other courses where it's like, was I supposed to take like another course before this one? Because I'm not understanding a lot of this and I feel silly or I feel it would make me feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just like not meant for this. You never want anybody to get in, just like we don't want our clients to come into our fitness program and be like, "This is too much for me." Like, I shouldn't have said we of course, we don't want that. We want them to feel welcome because they are supposed to be here. So just like you guys are supposed to be here. So that's cool feedback. Last question for you. What would you say to somebody, to a coach, to a business owner, if they had reservations or hesitations in signing up for the cohort?
Don't. Just do it.
Don't sign up.
No. Sign
I know,
up.
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
You wish, and I remember when I initially spoke to you a year and a half ago, one of the biggest reasons I did not sign up was financially, because I had just
Sure.
invested in part of my business. So what I wish I did in hindsight after taking this course is I do wish I started then, and I do wish that I found a way to be able to invest and trusted it. And now, I'm happy I am where I am now. But if I had to do it over again, I would say, you know what? Just do it. Don't even think about it. Don't worry. Get it done. And that's it. Learn as much as you're going to learn. So I would have done
It's
it differently.
yeah, that's so interesting. It's one client for the year, right? Like, if you sign one client for the year, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. You got it.
It's exactly how it is. And I do want to say one thing in a, just a humorous way. I
We're
was
here for it.
so last summer I was in Italy and I wanted to buy this purse. And the purse was the exact cost of the course. I did not buy the purse. At that point where I was at the counter trying to make a decision because I went into that specific store specifically to buy the purse that I wanted. And I put it back and I looked at my husband and I said, I'm going to take this money. And when that course starts, I'm signing up for it and then I'll buy the purse after.
Full body chills. That's crazy.
I swear to God, that was the decision I made. And when you sent out that initial post,
Mhm.
I said, count me in because I knew you were going to, because I told you to remind me.
I know.
I
You're on
said,
my
yes.
list.
Don't buy the purse, people. Invest in this course.
Buy the purse after you bring on all these other
Yes,
clients from this
absolutely.
buy the purse, buy a couple. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. What a cool story just to even share with like your audience. I don't know if you have or not, but like that's so cool because that's a real like it's how easy is it just to go in and get a purse and buy it, and then you're like, "Wait, like, I could have used this money to invest into myself, and that return on investment is gonna be infinite." Whereas the purse makes you feel good, it makes you look good, and, like, you should treat yourself, absolutely. But this is gonna, can increase your revenue, it can increase just your impact and all of these things. So, you can buy m more than you can buy whatever you want. You can
It Yep,
buy
it goes.
several pur
The saying goes,
that's
invest in yourself, not things. Invest in yourself.
yeah, yeah. I love that story. Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing with me. So cool. So cool. Well, that's all that I have. I hope everybody listening to this got a really, insightful message and just maybe feel a little bit more at ease about jumping into GHMC. It is something that we have had since early 2024, so coming up on 2 years now. So we've refined it a bit. We're making adjustments to the course. We've got some cool things coming up. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story. It was so
Thank
insightful. And
you.
I learned some new things about you today. I love it.
Thank you,
Yay.
Kayla, for having me. This was
Yes.
great.
Of course. Thank you guys. See you on the next one.